Don't blink, it's your Blink. Welcome to our show. Guys are doing well because I'm having a wonderful day on this 16th May 2025. Today we're talking. Yeah, I got it. Haha. Today we're talking about. Well, I actually don't know what I'm talking about, and I feel like this is the subject of the video. See, we've been depressed for a while now, and lately I've been doing a lot better, and we've been slowly getting back into the mood of doing a lot of things, and I've been making content for 4 years, and I feel like I'm kind of obsessed with making content. And when I say I'm kind of obsessed, it is a euphemism, which is I'm completely obsessed with making content. And you would think that me not making content for months, a month to be precise, or less than it for a month, and I would be overcharged. And see, we've been struggling with the idea of giving up. We've been struggling with the idea of not making content anymore. I'm right now watching Tritash Tammy. Why am I mentioning this? Because I think she deserves a shout out. We've been obsessed with making content, and with 4 years of making content, you can kind of see patterns doing. You can kind of see pattern forming. I think that's the pattern. I think it's the most beautiful thing. Look at this. This is the morning. Why? Because I don't know. I don't know if patterns are normal, or patterns are just dependent on people. X person is gonna do X. Y person is gonna do Y. It all depends on who's whom and how do you react to things. Kind of like a fight or flight response. I'm overwhelmed. Am I fighting or am I fleeing? Right. And the 4 years you get some patterns. So I know from previous experience that if and only if, as I know from pattern or from previous patterns, my apologies, that I tend to overplan. I really tend to overplan. So so, and it's not necessarily overplanning, and I think, you see, this is why I love making videos, and this is why I love not planning my videos, because I think we just found the reason as to why. When I say overplan, it's not necessarily overplan. So what ended up happening is, for example, I'll give you a best example. I watched one song, which was 2 minutes and a half. It is basically an AI musical of the fight between Obi-Wan Kenobi and Anakin Skywalker. Now, some people understood that I was talking about Star Wars. People didn't. I feel like if you didn't know I was talking about Star Wars, I cannot help you. Sadly, I want to help you, but I can't. Now what happened that was really, really nice, was I fell in love with the song, and then I was like, you know what, this song is so good, and because of this one song of 2 minutes and a half, I ended up watching the first three movie, which ended up being 4 hours and a half, right? Now, did I have a good time? Yes, but it's just to show you how quickly plan goes like that. Or you'll start a new playlist, right? Even more than that, in a sense of nature clone. Now we're starting to get good nature. Like, for example, today is so beautiful, and it's so nice outside. It's so nice, and you're like, okay, well, guess what? I'm gonna go out and film, right? And then I'm gonna go out and film, and I'm gonna go out and film, and then boom, you realize that you, without even knowing or without even understanding, you put it yourself in this amount. Let's put this simply, because I'm not making any sense. Yesterday, I was like, I have so much time. I let go of things. I relax, and then I forgot at what time I woke up, and I felt really tired. And I'm like, what's going on? And like, okay, well, you've been awake for 12 hours plus. Again, yesterday was really hot. So when you're really hot, your body will spend more calories or more energy cooling down. So I slept for more. But at the same time, I slept for more. Yesterday we woke up at 11. Today I woke up at 6. So I was tired, but when I finished sleeping, I was good, and I'm still good. But it just goes to show the example of what I'm trying to say. You're trying to control too much, and I did say plan, but it's just your day. When you have a plan, when you start making a video, for example, one of the biggest problems that I have right now is I don't plan my video. So this video that we're doing right now could be 10 minutes, it could be 20 minutes, it could be 30 minutes, it could be 40 minutes, I don't know. And you don't really plan for that. You don't really plan. You said, okay, well, you're planning the subject. And over planning in my mind is that it's having too much on your plate. And too much on your plate isn't necessarily, people will think about effort. People will think about, okay, well, you're tired and shit like that. No, it's about time. It's always had been about time. Always has been. The reason why we had a burnout in October, people say, oh, dude, you didn't stop working. You were overworking. And you guys are right. I did overwork. But I feel like if I had more time, or I scheduled my things in a better way, as long as we got that sleep, we would be okay, And it was definitely something that I wouldn't do again. But you see, they always say that inside is 2020. I can look back at what happened on that in that period of time, and I kind of understand where I went. And again, we're talking about over planning, right? And it's such a interesting concept that we're exploring right now because over planning is part of who I am, right? I told you multiple times. The reason why I over plan is for the first time in my life, and I feel like that's pretty normal too. For the first time in my life, I have something that I want to do. I'm passionate about. This is my dream. I never had a passion before. I had passion, but they weren't professional passion. It's like understanding that you want to be a marine biologist. Then swimming, which used to be fun, become kind of like a purposeful, if it makes sense. So of course I went crazy. Of course I went over planning, and with the content, the over planning is so simple. Every single show that you watch becomes an opportunity to make content. Every single subject that you talk about is a video. Fuck, dude. Oh, give me a sec. Because what I'm going to do now is I'm going to be uploading videos to TikTok and YouTube. Oh, fuck. Every single thing that you're doing. For example, right, I was having a conversation with Janice. Janice was coming to the live every single day. And me and Janice were similar. And me and Janice, we got into this this weird place where we were talking so often that when you talk to a person every single day, it's not necessarily surface. So, for example, you're going to be talking to this friend, right? You're going to be talking to this friend once a week, once a month, once a year. And every single conversation that you're going to have is going to be surface. Hey, how are you, dude? How's the family? But with Janice, say we were talking every single day, we were going into subject. And Janice is smart, right? Janice also, Janice in a weird way, and I've always said that, but in a weird way, Janice is very, very prompt when it comes to behind the scenes stuff. It'll have idea, it'll have concept. You say, hey, do this, do that. Right? But at the same time, you have those ideas, but it's more so how you do them, right? And that's where he's a bit behind. And me, that's where he's a bit behind. That's where he's a bit, I don't want to say lacking, but kind of. And with me, I'm more of a doer, not less of a planner. So the two of us together, I swear to God, I would make a 3-hour stream talking to him, and I would have 6-7 videos. Now, for example, if this video is 30 minutes, right? 6 videos is 30 minutes. That's 3 hours of my day right now. So when everything becomes a principle of it sucks. It's not because you never have enough time, right? It's always about that, It's you over planting, and when you planting, you don't necessarily think about, oh well, I should be doing this today, so I have time to do it, right? And I think there's a bit of pride there. Oh, I don't have to do it. I don't have the time to do it today. Well, make the effort to do it today. There's so many videos we're gonna see. I'm so fucking tired. I'm not making sense, right? And it sucks. And it's like, but once again, a man with a passion and a dream, right? It's so there's something so attractive, not physically, not sexually, but so attractive, so endearing, so inspiring. Inspiring is a good word. And I'm gonna be saying man because I'm a man, but if you're a woman, that's cool. If you're non-binary, that's cool. If you're trans, that's cool. If you're a puppy, that's cool. If you're a garbage can, that's cool. You can be whatever the fuck you want. But in my mind, there's nothing more inspiring than a dude with a camera and a dream. Me making content became a lot about studying other people. Like for example, studying Casey Neistat, studying Epic Mealtime, and in my opinion, let's keep it with Casey Neistat. In my opinion, Casey Neistat is McJugger Nuggets also. Yeah, those two, they're super entertaining. But they fall into a specific category of people that are interesting to see how they work, right? I'm gonna take another example, Nicocado Avocado. Nicocado Avocado started out a really good YouTuber. He had things to say, he was articulate, he was able to talk about everything and anything, he was interesting, he was a hard worker, dude. Dude did only 2 hours of content per day, however, he edited like a motherfucker, you know? And Nicocado did some mistake, right? Because he got prideful, because he trusted the wrong people, right? And he was vindicative more than anything. So Nick made a mistake, right? And Nick got hated, and then Nick understood a very simple concept, but a poison of a concept. No matter how hard he worked, and no matter how hard he tried to be the good guy, he would make more views when it came to being a villain and rage bait. So yesterday, life is crazy. Life is crazy. See, if it wasn't for content, I would have not done the Jake Paul documentary. I would have not watched it. But then, that's what I was talking about yesterday. Jake Paul tried so hard to be liked, but then he understood that his role was to be hated, and that's why he took the monocle of the problem child. He's like, yeah, hate me. I don't give a fuck. As long as they pay the bills, I don't give a fuck. And then Nicocado became a parody of himself. He became this uninteresting beast. My apologies, that was disgusting. This is caricatural, a caricature of himself, right? And then he was paying the bills, but Nick always had, and that's what I admire about Nick. Nick always had, even McJugger Nuggets. Casey Neistat is different because Casey Neistat has a passion. Nicocado always had this idea of, at 30 years old, I'll retire. And right now he's retiring and he's making video for the love of it, and his videos are normal. And he gets less views, but he's still happy, and he really is happy. And I applaud that. But again, Nicocado, who was working day in, day out, and how much he worked and how crazy it was, right? Or somebody like McJugger Nuggets, who produced one of their first series on YouTube, right? And ultimately speaking, and I don't think this is maturity, but it's also it's also maturity, but it's also an understanding. When you're a viewer, and again, I'm not trying to pretend like I'm somebody that I'm not. I'm not saying I'm a genius, but your perception really changed when you become a content creator. Your perception of content and your appreciation of the hard work that goes into content. You know, for example, right now we're having Trish Tashtami. Trish Tashtami does it. She planned her video, no, but it's always improv. So now she has 4 people. So we're watching her, Diamond, Gem, and Crystal, which is 4 people improving with each other. That takes hard work, right? That takes hard work. But see, McJugger Nuggets, he had a passion, right? And then he fell out of love with YouTube. He fell out of love with the principle of YouTube. But to this day, This Psycho series is one of the most complete, if not the most complete series ever made on YouTube. Why? Because okay, so uh, you have to talk about what the Psycho series was, or at least what it represented. So the Psycho series was, and it was all about timing. It was all about timing. Um, and we'll talk about. Well, if I don't talk about it now, I'll forget it. I'll forget it. Timing is something I'm very worried about. Um, I was talking with Butler TV on Twitch, and he's also a bit older, and he's also a content creator. And we were talking about what it is like to make content when we're older, you know. And it's it's the experience that you got. You're wiser. You have a better understanding of life in general, and you're like, whoa, dude, you know what? This makes sense. This is something that actually makes sense. Something I didn't understand last year or 2 years ago, but I understand now. This is experience of life that you get, right? Versus the energy of the youth. Um, if you saw me, if I started making content and I was um 20 years old. You think I'm doing a lot of videos now? Fuck you, man. You don't even know. If I was 20 years old, I had the energy of 20 years old. I would have made content and content and content and content. And this channel, which has 30,000 videos, or 29,000, um, would have 100, 200,000 videos. And it's not hard to believe because I'm 32 years old. That would have been 12 years of my life. So you take 4 years, which is 28,000, you do times 3. Um, yeah, times 3, which is 30. No, 28 times 3 is what? It's 56. It's 74. 74, and then you do the 74 and you take out 28 because the 4 year we just made content. So 78 minus 24 is 56. No, no. 28 is 56. Yeah, and yeah, you that would be the amount of content that we did. McJuggernaut was young. When it comes to timing, McJuggernaut did this perfect thing. So the Psycho series was about, and I talked about this a lot, but I'm gonna repeat myself because I'm in love with making content. I'm in love with this, and simply the fact that we're talking about being in love with making content is amazing. Lately, I've been having a really hard time mentally speaking, emotionally speaking. I'm always looking here because the phone overeats, and then because it overeats, it closes, and then the screen goes black, and I'm not filming the tower anymore. So, I'm in love with the Psycho series because it's not about the content; it's about the idea or the principle behind the concept. Um, First of all, it's a concept that's so people are mad at the Psycho series because it was a lie, right? And again, it's so fucking funny because how life is. Do you think I was planning to make this video today? No. However, if I was planning to make this video today, I would have talked about yesterday's video, which was Raw the Liver King. And the Liver King is one that's faked, that lied a lot. Major Nuggets also lied in his narrative. So basically, the story was a young guy that wanted to be a YouTuber, wanted to be a streamer. And he wanted to make a living out of it. And his father was like, no, you need to work. Maturing is realizing that Psychodad was right. Maturing is realizing that it's very risky business because you might not make it. We've been trying for this for 4 years and we haven't made it yet. I'm not gonna give up, but still. And the Psycho series was about him, the dad being abusive. And back in those days, not a lot of people were living off making content. It was this very weird dichotomy, very, very weird dichotomy, where not a lot of people were living out of it, of making content, but the people that were living out of making content, they were fucking filthy rich. So we're talking about people like Girlfriend versus Boyfriend, we're talking about Casey Neistat, we're talking about PewDiePie, we're talking about Markiplier, talking about a very, very small amount of people. So yeah, so it made sense. And then we go back to Casey Neistat, so McJuggernuggets. I fell in love with the making content because, again, it was the hard work. It was 2 videos per day. It was the editing. But it was also having a cameraman. Back in the days, nobody had a cameraman. Now, every single big YouTuber, they have a cameraman. That was something, you know. Also, there was also the fact that um, he had to keep a lie. So in the Psycho series, his parents get divorced and his mother moves out. His mother didn't move out; she was living in the basement. So anybody and his address was he was doxxed. Everybody knew where he lived, so all they had to do was to go in, look in the window, see the mom. Oh, the Psycho series is fake. It was also on Twitter promoting his video, right? And then I have to give a shout out, and I shouldn't give a shout out because the guy's a piece of shit right now. He just got arrested for spousal abuse, domestic violence. The kid behind the camera. Kid behind the camera isn't. It's hard work, yes, because it's editing. It's hard work because it's editing. It's hard work because you constantly have to film and you constantly have to make your videos. It's hard work because and it's promoting your video. Promoting your videos is actually hard. I don't promote my shit. I don't promote, but if I promoted my shit, I would already be much further in this career of mine. This kid behind the camera was a picture perfect of I have golden potential. So he had an entertaining family. Because he had an entertaining family, the only thing that he had to do was pick up a camera and film, and something would happen every single day. Oh, we have a. I'm not sure if it's a chopper or a plane. Can you tell the difference? I can't. So yeah, kid behind the camera was just I pick up a camera and I'm making content, which there's a certain charm to it, right? But then, as you can see, his family doesn't talk to him anymore, right? His family doesn't talk to him anymore, and his content took a dive because he didn't know how to make content without. You see, it's something different. You pick up a camera, there's something going on. Versus, for me, one of my favorite things to do is nature corn, because you always get different results and it's always so nice. But technically speaking, I'm just picking up a camera and filming. You guys love the tower playthrough. All I'm doing is recording a gameplay, right? There's nothing there. So with Kim behind the camera, he started struggling, and then what ended up happening was he started clickbaiting a lot. He lost a lot of viewers, and then it led to a lot of things, right? Which is horrible thing, but still, yeah. I have to even give a shout out to Keemstar. Keemstar gave so much visibility on YouTube, and Keemstar, do I like him as a human being? I think he made a mistake. I think he'll learn from it. I think he's a businessman. I think a lot of what he's doing is it's a drug. It's a drug to get some views, right? But Keemstar gave a lot of credit to YouTuber, and he took a chance. I was watching last year. I was watching Epic Mealtime. Those guys believed in something. YouTube wasn't even paying back then. Most of the cash they were having was for Patreon. Most of the cash that they were having was from sponsorship. You know, but Epic Mealtime, and they would go, and it was believing in YouTube. It was believing into making content. It was believing in a dream, right? But what is fucking amazing, what I really, really like about Epic Mealtime is a specific video that I saw. And this video completely changed my perception of life. It's crazy to say, but it is. Somebody asked them, why are you filming? Because back then, YouTube wasn't big. Social media weren't a thing. There wasn't a lot of people filming. Nowadays, I'm on my balcony, I'm filming, and I got my neighbors say, did I tell you this story? I got this neighbor, they're super nice, asking me, they didn't even ask me why am I filming. They tell me, on what platform are you? So they knew. This is the new reality. They could say, yo, don't film my apartment, don't film my house, and even if I'm not, they'd be right to say that, right? So it's insane. It is freaking insane, dude, you know? But then Epic Mealtime, they came in, and there was, I think it was the McDonald's, or it was a fast food joint. And the person asked them, what are you doing? Why are you filming? And Epic Mealtime was just like, we're filming for YouTube. And back then, YouTube didn't pay. There was no such a thing. There was no such thing as Creator Fund. They still believed in it, which was crazy. Even a show like iCarly, was just the beginning of the time, the perfect timing. McNuggets, people were trying to make money on YouTube. It was starting to become a job. iCarly was a show about a girl that was streaming, and back then it wasn't popular. iCarly was one of the OG YouTuber, OG streamer. It was crazy. It was crazy, and when you look at it, it's just a preteen girl filming videos. It's a stupid show. I love iCarly, but it's a stupid show, you know. And then you got people like Casey Neistat, and Casey Neistat's possibly not the best person. Yesterday we were watching Liver King, and we were seeing some of his first videos, some of his failed take. The guy didn't know what to say. He wasn't a seller. He wasn't a talker. He didn't have this gift when it comes to a gift of speech, right? And then you're watching that, and then he was trained and told what to say, like a mascot, like a puppet. And it became such a big thing. Casey Neistat is the same thing. Casey Neistat is not the guy you would see on camera, but he's a genius. The way he presents stuff, the way he does stuff, right? But when you look at his, the way he does things, there's nobody that does it like his. He has his own unique mind. He's a genius. So we're talking about this because we talked about this in previous videos. Well, because this, much like in previous videos, this used to be a, it used to be like a huge point of motivation. And we had this period of making content that we weren't motivated. This is kin from a pig. First sausage that was delicious yesterday. And yeah, it used to be a motivation. So when I was giving up, you see the motivation. Even Rich Piana. And of course I'm biased because I like Rich. But Rich was, in my mind, one of the pioneer. Why? Because, and it's crazy, we had the apocalypse where you couldn't swear on YouTube. And Rich came in and swore and swore and swore and said fuck you, and said motherfucker, and said god damn it. Why did he do that? Because Rich didn't need money from YouTube. He was using YouTube as a way to promote his shit. So even if his video made him $0, his business was still making a lot of money. You know? And to me that was crazy. That was crazy. Using something as a main job, and the way he had equipment, the way he worked, and he worked really hard to promote something that you already had, you know. Craziest thing that happened. Craziest thing was last year. I was watching a Boogie documentary, right? And people were asking him, and he was being asked, why are you depressed? And his answer was, some of my videos, my old videos, are not being put by the algorithm anymore. And to me that blew my mind. Because those are videos that he filmed 10, 12 years ago. And it still made him, they still made him enough money to survive. And to me that's crazy, you know? If it was about money. It's not because other people that I mentioned, nobody does videos anymore. Nobody does video anymore. Rich is dead. Nick is retired. It sucks. Boogie is a locale. Doesn't make original content, just works for Keemstar. Michael doesn't make. He makes some videos, but they get so much hate that I wouldn't make videos with him. You know? But then there's still some good, because I mentioned PewDiePie. And then people looking at XQC, and I love XQC because he's French Canadian, just like me. But people are looking at PewDiePie, and a lot of people are saying that PewDiePie is the most successful YouTuber. And then when you ask them why, they show you a picture of his wife, Marza. I don't know. I'm sorry, dude. I don't know her name. They show Marza, and they show him with Bjorn, which is his son. And he's just happy. And that's the secret of life. So the whole video point wasn't talking about all of these YouTubers. The whole video point wasn't talking about X, Y, Z. The whole video point was saying that we're in a mental space where you're better. See, my mental space is not the best, right? So when your mental space isn't the best, it's worse than if it's when your mental space or your mental health isn't the best, right? See, my mom called me yesterday. And my mom was like, "Hey, I found you a job as a janitor in the school." My first thought was like, no, I don't want to be a janitor. I'm gonna be ashamed. My second thought was remembering how hard we've been trying to get a job, for how long we've been trying to get a job. My third thought was like, yo, you have a debt. Step on your ego for a second, pay that debt, and then you can leave. My fourth thought was this. It's so fucked up. It's so fucked up. Why? Because this for 4 years now has been a plan A, and it's a plan B. And I had trouble with that thought. I have trouble with that concept. I have a really hard time with that concept. I have a really hard time with the simple idea that fuck, this won't work, right? And it's crazy because there's a part of me that understands that this won't work, but there's no part of me that says, what if it doesn't work? What are you doing? Again, pride is the main culprit here. Oh, sorry. It's tough, dude. It's tough. I would rather be sad than right now. I would rather be in the peak of depression than right now, because right now we're in limbo. So I'm an Aquarius, right? I like to talk about water when I give imagery, and also because everybody knows what water is, or a river. Multi-window closed. So you're too hot. You are too hot. See? Thank God I checked. You've been hot for how long? I don't know. I do not know. Anyway, we're gonna be finishing this video that I'm gonna have to charge a phone already. Holy shit. We have a busy day today. Because the plan is to charge a phone, and then today's gonna be a lot of rain and thunder. I wanna catch that on camera. But for that I need battery. I like using water as a picture, right? Because people know what it is, and I love water. Don't worry, it's gonna stop.
This was like at 2 p.m., middle of the day. So,
okay.
I mean, we've been having fun. We have a few more shows left, so come see us.
Give us a sec.
Yeah.
Why aren't you working? I don't know. Right now.
We're gonna answer a question.
We're on a.
Everybody's asking this, so let's get it out of the fucking way.
I guess it won't work. Fuck, those speakers are shit. When you're sad, when I was at the height of depression, I'm drowning, right? Now, so when at the peak of depression, you're drowning, and in the depths of depression, you're on an island, you're safe. You're on an island looking at the water and enjoying margaritas, right? Right now, we're on a rift. We're on a what is it? It's not a boat. It's not a boat. It's a raft. Yeah, that's a raft. So we're on a raft and we're letting the water choose what we do. Some days we're drowning, we're getting further away from the shore, and some days we're getting close to the shore, right? And the goal is to go to the shore. And it's so hard, and on good days I'm motivated to make content, and on good days I want to make content. On bad days I'm like, fuck that. Now I'm extremely lucky because we made content, so much content that even if I was to take a break, it wouldn't matter. It wouldn't matter because you're like, okay, well, you did X, Y, and Z. You don't feel good. You've posted X. You've posted Y. You still got some Z's, you know? So there's so much content that I have, and that I can post, that I can just take a break, and it's so nice to know that. Now, ultimately speaking, and that's also an evolution. Ultimate Evolution. This is me oversharing once again, but who gives a shit? Um, this is so cool because there's a part of me, and that's not that long ago. That was like a month and a half ago, a month ago. There's a part of me that was like, holy shit, what happened if I don't have content? What happened if I don't have content anymore? And I'm like, first of all, you're not gonna get there next week, next month. I have, sincerely speaking, I still have 2,900 clips. So even if I was posting 100 clips of gaming per day, I would have a full month of gaming. That's not even doing this. We're filming, we're doing the tower. I would do the tower when I sleep. Fuck it. Um, that's 29 days at the minimum. First of all. Second of all, we have a GoPro that's full of 1 terabyte of. Okay, not true. We use some of it. We possibly have 920 gigs left of data, of footage. Now the GoPro, because of the quality, it does film fast. So 920 is about, I want to say 150 hours. Even if I was to post 3 hours a day, it would still be pretty good, you know? So yeah, so we're not gonna give up on it. We're not gonna miss content. And if I don't film a single video in the next month, maybe I'm not passionate. If I don't film a single videos in the next 2 months, maybe I'm not passionate, right? And then I'm okay with the idea of not having content. This whole I feel like a lot of content creator, myself included, have this idea of constant grind, constantly having to post. I killed myself. Now this is strategy talk, right? I killed myself with the algorithm. By posting this much, people will not watch the video. If you post 1 videos, so the algorithm, how it works is you post a video that you get 10 views. It's good. You post 10 videos, they all get 1 view. It's still 10 views, right? But YouTube thinks, and YouTube is still my main focus. We did create a Kick account. Kick account could be cool. I love TikTok, but again, it's so weird. Now that I'm more mature, now that I have insight, which again, 2020. Now that I have some insights, TikTok is a great platform. I like TikTok, but TikTok would be more about live, TikTok live. I wouldn't do a YouTube live, but I would do TikTok live. TikTok is still the main source, just the main goal. And yes, Twitch disappointed me with their 100 hours. But at the same time, do I really care? No. Why? Because with Twitch, Twitch I've been for years. I haven't been promoting the Twitch. I haven't been promoting anything at all. But the Twitch has just been a way of getting content. So Twitch, if you look at my Twitch, you don't see a single video that is meant to be there. The clips that I have are not meant to be there. They're meant to be posted. First of all. Second of all, I'm not keeping content on Twitch. Just like that. So yeah, it's a really weird thing. It's a really, really weird thing. 34%. Holy shit, it goes fast, dude. It goes fast, dude. Okay, we're good. Let's do landmine. Let's do coin. Yeah, coin. Let's do free upgrades. Let's do interest. Let's do. That's it. I think I bought everything, and I think I bought everything we did. Cool. I was just dying. With Twitch, it always has been, and it's funny because this is so shitty. But with Twitch, it always has been about filming, for using this as a film to be able to put it on YouTube. TikTok, in the same fashion, has always been about doing, well, that's not true. That is not true. TikTok has always been about promoting my other platform though. TikTok has always been about getting popular over there and sending people to my YouTube. It's always been about that. It's always been the main goal, the main idea. However, it does change. It did change. How did it change? Well, very simply put, I don't know how it changed. I don't know. I changed. It's still the main goal. TikTok has been okay. Yeah, let's put it like that. TikTok has always been useless to me because I don't like TikTok. I like TikTok for the live. I like watching people live. I like watching people live. I like watching content on TikTok. I like the application, but I do prefer YouTube. Um, so TikTok has changed because it's a better platform for me doing live, but also for watching live. To me, it's just better, right? And because it's better, I'm enjoying. I found a purpose for TikTok, right? And I haven't found a purpose for Twitch. Twitch has always been about streaming. Twitch, I have this love story with Twitch, because again, it's my Genesis, it's my Garden of Eden, it's my chapter one of the Bible. And again, I'm not trying to be offensive by mentioning the Bible.
Tammy,
Why aren't you
when was the
working?
last
Fuck
time
you.
you saw Diamond? Last time I saw her,
Fuck
she
you.
was
Why aren't you
walking
working?
in this car.
Just work, dude. There you go.
About 6 months ago. I know
I'm just gonna be praying.
not expected to have Monday. Get ready for this story. And I had some of my little pencil.
Okay, we'll try again later, no problem. Um, I found a purpose for that. You know? I love Twitch. If it wasn't for Twitch, I wouldn't be there. I would love to Twitch. But I had this love for Twitch. Even Kick, we gave a chance to Kick. Because it's a platform. I feel bad about that. I feel bad about not being loyal. See, now it's a good day. I'm motivated to make content. I'm motivated to film. I'm thinking about what's next. I'm thinking about the plan. People ask me, why do you have such a hard time with the fact that you might not make it with content? Well, because you treat it as a plan A, right, for so long. You're starting to believe in yourself. And then it's always been that. It's always been, fuck you. If you don't believe in me, I believe in myself. And that's all that I need. And I mean this with the utmost respect. My parents didn't believe in me. My friends didn't believe in me. Ultimately speaking, they were right. And of course, there's this mentality of proving them wrong. But it's not so much about it. It's not so much anymore about proving them wrong. I'm like, you know what? It would be nice to prove them wrong, but if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. I know my truth, which is I'm doing what I love. That's pretty much it. I was talking with my ex, and she was like, oh my god, I was dating her for like a month. She was talking about buying a house, and she was like, I don't want to have to pay everything if I go out with you. And I said, who's talking? Who is talking about you buying everything? She said, well, you don't really work, and you're not making money from your social media. And I'm like, yeah, I'm happy. I'm happy. You could date a piece of shit that is unhappy, that treats you like shit because he's unhappy. You're dating a dude who treats you right, right? And she's like, yeah, you're right. But yeah, it's not about proving people wrong anymore. It has been. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. It has been, but it's not about it anymore. However, it is still a bit of a mourning. It's still mourning the loss of someone, um, because you are mourning the loss of a potential business. And people say it's not about the money, but I'm in such a weird position. My love for making content has completely changed. If you ask me why I love making content last year, the answer would have been something along the line of, I get to be myself, I get to talk, I have a good community, I have fun, I'm in charge of my own schedule, I'm in charge of what I'm talking about, I'm in charge of what I'm eating, how I'm eating it, I'm in charge of everything that has to do with my personal life, right? But I think the proper love, the love that stays, I'm still, all of those things are still true, but there is a part of me that's been consuming a lot more content, and by consuming a lot more content, I'm falling in love with the idea of how content is made, right? How people. I was watching the documentary with Jake Paul yesterday, and he had a team, and in the documentary, I was like, dude, this is Jake Paul documentary, but you're barely hearing that guy talk. You're barely hearing him talk. You know, And I felt bad about that. I was like, why am I watching something about someone when it's everybody else talking, right? And it didn't matter because that was his process. His process was to do, not to talk, right? I'm a talker. I'm a talker. You guys have realized that, but it doesn't mean that somebody that doesn't talk or somebody that's less of a talker is less effective or less qualified or less talented, right? It is so crazy because, and again, I swear to God, this wasn't a plan. This wasn't my big scheme. I swear to God. I was also watching Brian, which was a Liver King, and he's a talker. Jake was a doer. Jake Paul was a doer, and he was a talker. You know, you had two completely different people. They both got to the same place, but in different ways. You know, I hate doing the behind the scenes stuff. I find it boring. But at the same time, and it's so complex because this is part of who I am. I'm looking for this approbation. I'm looking for this respect. I'm looking for this acknowledgement. You guys know I did a classic course in baking. You guys know that, right? I was supposed to be a baker. There was no money to be made, so fuck it. When you think about it, it's insane because I gave up on baking because everywhere that I was going, I was making minimum salaries, and I was like, no, I got a diploma. You have to pay me more because I had a diploma, right? It didn't make sense to me, and I gave up because there was no money to be made. I went to school for a year to be a baker, and I gave up after 2 years. I have been making content for 4 years, and I have made money, of course, but I guarantee you that in 4 years we made less than four numbers. We made less than 1,000. It doesn't make any sense. However, we have this passion, we have this love, right? We have this love. And on days like this, making this much content, I feel alive, I feel reborn. I feel like myself. I feel like I'm gonna say I feel like a god. I don't feel like a god, but you compare your everyday shitty life, following directive, following the hive mind, and this freedom. You can fly. You're in a different space continuum, and it's amazing, right? I feel like the luckiest of dudes. But I think it's also mourning. I think it's also because this is the problem with me. Whenever I say something positive, I have to make a negative. Or whenever I say something that I'm being sincere or I'm being serious, I have to make a joke, right? This is the way I am. It's just the way I am. The death of this possible career is mourning. I had mourning when I gave up on making bread. I had mourning when I gave up on being a businessman. I had mourning when I gave up on karate. You know, I had mourning when I gave up on check or chess. I had mourning when I gave up on. In French, chess is échec. I had so many mornings, right? And I was talking about baking. My favorite part of baking wasn't making the bread. It was so crazy. My favorite part of I worked for this job, right? And it was my first bakery I was working at. And again, it's like your first time on a bike. It's like your first time having sex. You never forget your first. And the first one I was going to work at 3 o'clock in the morning, and I was ending my shift at 11, and they were opening at 10. So then one day it's like, why are we opening at 3 o'clock? He said, because our job is to make sure that the customer have a product. And then I didn't understand that. I was young. I was 19 years old. And then I went back home, and it hit me. And I'm like, I'm not even there. I'm not even there. And the comparison to making content is crazy because it makes so much sense. It makes so much sense. It's crazy. It was about. I went home and I was like, people are enjoying what I did this morning. And I don't need to be here. I don't need to be told, hey, you did good. I don't need to be told thank you. Simple fact that something that I did is being enjoyed is amazing. Now, how does it compare to content? I'm seeing my analytics, I'm seeing my views, and lately I got a video that hits a lot of views. And it's an old video. And I'm like, I don't remember why I did this video. One of my most popular taste tests, which is the thing that we did the most on the channel. And it's so funny. One of the one of the videos that got the most views, the most result, if you will, is a Doritos chips review. Now, if you guys know me, you know I don't like Doritos. First of all, if you watch the video, I'm sick as a dog. I'm talking with my nose because my nose is full of mucus. But then I'm like, and at first I'm like, what the fuck? Why the fuck did this work? So I tried so hard to reproduce that. And then I'm like, you know what? I don't need to know why it worked. The important part is that it worked. Doesn't matter why, doesn't matter how, it worked. Call it a miracle, but it worked. Right? And I was proud of that. I was happy for that. I didn't need instant gratification. I didn't need gratification at all. This video could have gotten no views. I didn't care. If I had got views, I was like, you know what? Good. I'm happy. I am happy. So to finish this video, because it's been a while since we started this video. To finish this video, again with the multi-window closed, dude, you're getting too hot. What in the fuck? God damn it, ink. What is that? Okay. Let's go. Yeah. If I had to finish this video, I would probably just say that I'm happy that we're doing this today. I'm happy that we're motivated today. And for some reason you understand that, or at least I hope you understand that. That's enough. Just being happy that you did something is enough. Just being happy that you just did something today. And that's enough. It should be enough. It shouldn't be about that more in life, you know? And yeah. Love you guys. Take it easy. Peace.